The first time I reviewed the Bluvall K10, over 420,000 people tuned in to watch that video. And I don't blame them. A dual motor, dual battery, full suspension, moped-style e-bike for just over $1,000 is insane value, especially when the bike rips too. And rest assured, the original K10 is in stock, ready to ship, and my 20% discount still works. But today we're checking out an upgraded K10 version that Bluvall sent over. Similar style with some new colors and a few upgrades. It still has dual 1000 watt motors, 43 amp hours of battery capacity with this dual battery setup, and the same 35 mile an hour top speed. As for the upgrades, the new model has an upgraded controller that's now more stable and reliable, a lockable front fork and adjustable rear suspension, a new saddle they say is more comfortable, as well as some puncture resistant tires. Today I'll be showing you guys everything about the new bike up close, and after that we're going to be taking it outside to put it through the gauntlet with all of these real world tests. So while I top up both the 23 and 20 amp hour batteries with these supplied 3 amp chargers, how about we start with the beauty shots? Cue the B-roll! Let's start out back and with the first upgrade on the brand new K10 Trail. The new bike rolls on a set of 20-inch diameter, 4-inch wide Velocity tires. These tires are designed for e-bikes and they have 50 TPI, which makes them super soft and very grippy to the road. That layers underneath the rubber and it'll help you against punctures. The tread on the tire is actually pretty aggressive. There's no center channel here, so these might be a little bit loud on the road, but that's really not what they're designed to do. These tires with their tall, spaced out knobbies are designed to take it off-road. They're gonna dig into the dirt, sand, snow, whatever we take it on. Plus there won't be any dirt or sand flying up at us because the bike comes kitted out with fenders, front and back. For the drivetrain, the bike comes with a 7-speed Shimano tourney derailleur, as well as the derailleur cage. I gotta tell you, this thing's already done its job because it was bent inward from shipping, but there's no damage to the derailleur. All I had to do is grab a pair of pliers, bend the derailleur cage back, and we're off to the races. In the back, you also get a 7-speed Shimano freewheel, and the setup up front is pretty generic. You get a decent sized chain ring protected by guards on both sides, some generic non-branded cranks, as well as some plastic pedals. So the frame on the new bike is very similar to the original K10. It's got the same solid front triangle as well as a swing arm in the back with the shock. But this is where they hide the second upgrade on this bike. The rear shock on the new K10 Trail is finally adjustable. You can now set the amount of preload you want on this 1,000-pound spring. And the third upgrade to the bike is hidden right in here under the seat. The new controller the K10 Trail comes with has been through a lot of testing, and this one is set to be much more reliable than the old one. Here's the shot of the new seat. It's a little bit different shape than the original K10. The original K10 had that little bit of a lip in the back that kind of hugs your bum, but this one's a little bit longer and you could probably fit 2 people in here if you squished. Looks pretty padded, looks pretty cushy. Can't wait to try it out on a ride. Here's a close-up of the new fork. It's still a triple crown design with a decent amount of travel. Check this out. This new fork has a compression adjustment with lockout, as well as preload here on the left, so you can make the fork as stiff or as soft as you want. Moving up on the front of the bike, here's a close-up of the big LED headlight. Looks like you get a halo around the outside and a full projector-style headlight in the middle. Oh, and you get some turn signals here as well. We'll turn these on in just a sec, but first, let's take a look at the controls. The handlebars on the new K10 Trail are BMX style. They've got a really nice riser as well as a little bit of a sweep backwards. They're not too narrow, not too wide. I think these feel great. They've also outfitted this bike with a fairly long stem, so there's an opportunity here to shorten that up if you want the bars to be closer to you and have a more upright sitting position. Man, there's a lot going on up here. Check this out. On the right-hand side, you get an ergonomic grip. These aren't lock-on, they're pretty thick plastic, and they can be easily changed out to some nice lock-on ones. But out of the box, this is what you get. Attached to that's a half-twist throttle, as well as an ignition key. This is a really nice added layer of security. Without this key, you can't get any power to the bike. Next to that is the 7-speed Shimano shifter. We've seen these on pretty much 90% of the bikes out there. And here's a close-up of the DY Island hydraulic disc brake lever. There's an adjustment screw here that sets where the bite point is. Right now I've got it set just over the handlebar, but if you wanted it a bit further out, check this out. Wind that in, and now it's much farther from the handlebar. Nice bit of adjustability here. And here's what the left looks like. Same plastic ergonomic grip, again, can be easily swapped out to something nice and softer with some lock-on collars. That's probably what I would do. Next to that, there's a remote for all the lights. You get a tactile on-off button, some turn signals left and right, as well as a horn. Next to that's the red button. I'm pretty sure that's to turn the front motor on and off. Really nice button to have, as it's an easy way to save yourself a lot of battery capacity. Being able to just turn on the motor for hills or when you want to accelerate really, really fast is a really nice way to conserve some battery power. When you're on the flats and just rolling along, just disconnect the front motor and just keep to the rear one. And finally, simple remote to handle all the electronics. Plus and minus button to go up and down your pedal assist modes, as well as a power button here to turn the bike on and off. Matter of fact, let's do that right now. Okay, first things first, turn the ignition key on, hold our power button. There we go, a little boot sequence. So up top, of course, is our battery meter. We get 10 battery bars here and some warnings when we get down to the last crucial bars of the battery. In the middle, we've got our speedometer in miles or kilometers an hour. Right underneath that's your pedal assist mode that you're currently in. Goes anywhere from 0 all the way up to 5 pedal assist modes. If I hit the power button, it actually cycles through some stuff I can change. What can I change here? Oh, average speed, max speed, and then current speed. Okay. And then if I hit the power button, go down here, I can get the odometer, the trip, the voltage that's in the battery. This is really nice because this is the most accurate way to find out exactly what's left in your batteries. This is okay, it's a nice visual aid, but this is much more accurate. And is that it? What else can we get? Oh, the time and back to the odometer. I think I'm gonna leave it on voltage here. Let's see what kind of speed we can get from the motor without any weight on it. Just like they said in the spec sheet, the bike does go up to about 35 miles an hour. I saw about 34 on the display. Maybe we'll get something different on the GPS. We'll find out when we get outside. Oh, almost to show you guys some accessories the bike comes with. Here's the phone holder you can mount to your handlebars. You open it like this, and then as soon as you put your phone in here, it clamps down on it. There you go. Just like that. So going super fast on a bike is a lot of fun, but you do need a safe way to come to a stop. Here's a close-up of the DY Island brake setup. You get some dual piston hydraulic calipers biting onto big, thick 180 mil rotors. And you guessed it, the setup's the same in the front and the back. Okay, here we go. Let's see what the headlight looks like. I'm gonna turn it on now. Very nice. Nice wide pattern, so it lights up the entire road ahead of you, and it's got a nice line at the top, so you can adjust it so you don't blind anybody in front of you. Okay, turning the bike around, here's what the headlight looks like when it's turned on. There we go. This is off, by the way. The bike is turned on right now, so there's no daytime running lights, but when you turn the headlight on, you get the halo lit up around the outside as well as the projector in the middle. Nice and bright. Oh, and check this out. Here's the turn signals, left and right. Woo! And finally, here's what the back of the bike looks like. The bike's turned on right now, so again, no daytime running lights, but when we turn the headlight on, the back lights up as well. Gets brighter when you hold the brake, and we've got turn signals, left and right. Here's a close-up of the rear motor. It's a 52 volt, 1000 watt peak hub motor. And here's the front hub motor. Same 1000 watt peak, 52 volts that generates 80 Newton meters of torque. So in total, when you have both motors running, you're gonna get 160 Newton meters of total torque. All right, I've seen enough. How about you guys? Let's take this thing outside and take it for a ride. And along the way, let's talk about the upgrades and see if they're actually worth it or not. Good morning, guys and girl. Today's the first ride on the K10 Trail, the brand new upgraded K10 from Bluvall. And we're gonna find out what this bike's all about. Main goal for the video is to find out if the upgrades are actually worth the price difference. Right? Bluvall made a really good bike at just over $1,000 with the original K10. Is this upgraded K10 Trail actually worth the price difference? I don't know, but I want to find out. And you guys know me, I'm not here to sell you this bike. If I find things that are wrong with it, you're gonna know it. You're gonna see it. You're gonna hear it. The tests I'm gonna show you are gonna be black and white. I couldn't bullshit you if I tried. So let's start with the first test. Let's climb some hills. I always start right here on my fire hydrant, and up ahead is about a 15% grade hill. It's nice, long, sustained. I'm gonna start in single motor just to see what this 1000 watt, 80 Newton meter motor can actually give us and, you know, sustain on this hill. Got up to about 16 miles an hour, and now I'm just bogging down to 11, Yeah, 12 miles an hour, which isn't great, right? And that's really what you guys can expect from a single motor 1,000-watt bike, right? So let's switch the front oh, yeah. Switching the front motor just changes things completely. Now I'm accelerating uphill. Man, you don't want to get bogged down on hills. You need a dual motor bike, without a doubt. So let's turn it around. Let's take it to Test Drive Island. We'll unlock it, see what this bike's true potential is. I'll see you guys over there. But just before we take it to Test Drive Island and see if this thing can actually do 35 miles an hour, let's see how quickly it can accelerate. I always start right here at my lamp pole. Up ahead, there's a driveway pullout. And I'm gonna do this in 2 stages. Obviously, it's a dual motor bike, right? So let's see what the acceleration's like. Single motor first, we'll flip it around, throw it into dual motor with this nice, easy little red button, and see what the difference is like. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Pretty decent torque right off the bat. 15, 16, 17, about 18 miles an hour. Almost got there. You know, this is kind of nice. Like, if you're new to e-bikes, if you are new to bicycles in general, if you're not super comfortable, you know, riding bikes, or even worse, riding e-bikes, you know, having that just single motor just to kind of ease your way into it, figure out what the bike handles like, get you a little bit of power, is actually kind of nice, right? And then when you're used to it, you guys get to know each other. You can turn it into dual motor and then check out this power. You guys ready? Pedal assist 5, I've got it in dual motor. 3, 2, 1, go. Whoa, that front motor just spins out. 19, 21, 23. 23 miles an hour before the driveway. That's what I remember from that K10. Woo! Before we take it to full top speed mode, I want to get reacquainted with the K10. So let's get going about, 20 miles an hour, do some S-turns, figure out what these new tires are like as far as handling. Single motor. I'm gonna go pedal assist 2 here. Okay, here we go. About 20 miles an hour. Let's lean it over. Nice. Big turns. I don't know what that sound is up there. There's something rattling. Might be a loose bolt maybe in the fender or something like that. You know what? The handling's actually really nice. It's a shorter wheelbase bike, which makes it very quick to turn direction, right? The longer wheelbase bikes are going to be much more stable when you get going really, really fast. But like we saw earlier, the longer wheelbase bikes are going to be great at staying stable when you get up, well over 30 miles an hour, 40, 50 miles an hour. That's kind of what you want, is a nice long bike to stay stable. For a bike that's, quoted to be in the 30 mile an hour range, 35, a nice short wheelbase makes it very snappy and very quick to turn direction, especially when you have this much battery weight sitting on the very top of the bike here. The tires are good. They hook up to the road very well. They're not super loud. I was expecting something much louder out of these tires. You can barely hear them. They're not super obnoxious. They're not super silent. They're kind of somewhere in the middle, right? Time to find out what we all want to know. If this thing can actually get to the quoted 35 miles an hour. Let's find out. You guys ready? I'm gonna give this thing all the juice that I can. Pedal assist 5. I've got it in dual motor mode. We've got a full battery. Well, I've used the battery to get here, but the battery is as full as I can. It's got 10 battery bars, voltage of 56.8 volts. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Little front wheel spin. Got the GPS here just to keep it honest. 28 miles an hour already. 30, 31. Let's duck down, see if that makes a difference. The speedometer hovers around 33 to 34 miles an hour and then just kind of stops. And GPS is at 31. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really know if there's something limiting the bike right now. I've gone into the menu, I've increased the speed as much as I could, but just like you guys saw inside, the fastest the motor spun was 33 miles an hour inside without any weight on it. So how could it possibly go any faster with, you know, a 190-pound rider sitting on it, right? I don't get that. So yeah, I'm kind of conflicted, right? Are they lying? Kinda. 35 miles an hour, I don't even think is possible with a 100-pound rider, right? Or with a full battery. I had a full battery in the studio and the wheel only spun 33 miles an hour, right? Black and white tests over here. So I was thinking, maybe, just maybe, this is one of those bikes that can actually get to top speed by pedaling. The bike's got pedals, a decent sized chainring, a bunch of gears in the back. So I'm in the granny gear right now. The bike's got no power. It's in pedal assist 0. Hope you guys can see this with the camera. I mean, I can see it clear as day, even with my polarized glasses and with the sun directly over my shoulder. So nice screen. I actually like this. Not bad at all. Let's do this. Now you guys know moped-style e-bikes are not great to pedal, right? Like right now I'm on the seat and I've got the battery right in the crotch. I like sitting up high, right? So I'm kind of forward on the bike. I could go back, but now I'm leaned forward, right? So like my comfortable sitting position is kind of like right at the edge of the seat here. And I've got the corners of the seat jammed into my thighs and the battery here, right? The gas tank battery kind of jammed into my crotch. And it's not the most comfortable bike to pedal, but it's doable, right? Let's go to pedal assist 1. Here we go. Dropping a couple of gears. So pedal assist 1 takes me to about, oh wow, all the way to 16 miles an hour. Pedal assist 2 to about 20 miles an hour. Pedal assist 3. So I've dropped all my gears. I'm still sort of able to touch the gears here, the chain. I'm not ghost pedaling quite yet. 24 miles an hour. Pedal assist 4. Here we go. 27, 28 miles an hour. Pedal assist 5. Now I'm ghost pedaling for sure. 29, 30. It's not any faster by pedaling. So there you go. I can't remember exactly the top speed I was able to get with the original K10. I'll put it up on the screen right now. Let's play a clip. So there you go. That was the speed with the original K10. And the new K10 Trail gets up to about 30 to 31 miles an hour with me sitting on it, right? If you weigh less, you may be able to get a little bit faster, but still, I have trouble believing that this bike can actually get 35 plus miles an hour. Unless I'm missing something, right? If I am, let me know in the comments. Okay, so while we're out testing the pedal assist modes and the throttle, I really want to get a feel for how responsive this throttle is. I've got it in dual motor mode right now, pedal assist 5, let's see. Oh yeah, instant. Like you can tell the engineers at Bluvall programmed this bike, right, to be throttle centric, right? You kind of get the idea that this bike is just meant to be ridden with the throttle alone because the pedaling performance is so-so, right? Let's see at full power if I can just crawl along. Let's just slow down here. I'm just gonna give it like a tiny bit of power. Let's just crack it. 5 miles an hour. Yeah, a little bit more. All right, 8 miles an hour, a little bit more. So the power is pretty easy to control, right? From a little bit to all the way back in the throttle. You feel that, you know, every little 1/8 of an inch that you twist the throttle back, you're getting that much more power. It's actually pretty nice. And how about the pedaling? Pedal assist 5 right now. I'm gonna go in the granny gear. So let's start pedaling now. The power, when it kicks in through the pedals, is way smoother. Throttle, it's like instant. It just like knocks you back and just wants to take off on you. Pedaling is the opposite. It is a much smoother, a much like, you know, flatter curve when the power's coming from the pedals versus the throttle, which I think is kind of nice. It's just a more relaxed experience, right? Not just throw you in the back of the seat and hold on for dear life. But it does take a little bit of time for the power to kick in. Like, watch this. I'm gonna start pedaling now. Right, it takes me about a full revolution, at least a full revolution of the pedals to actually feel the power kick in. But it's super smooth, right? I really like it. And check this out. It's completely stable, right? A lot of heavy bikes, especially dual motor bikes, get that death wobble in front, and it's super sketchy. This thing doesn't have any of that. Even on the rough roads here, look at this. No problems whatsoever. Completely stable. Very nice. So as we ride over to go get set up for the brake test, I kind of want to give you guys my first impressions on this new K10 trail. Now, of course, I will be answering the question, right? Is this K10 trail actually worth the price difference for these upgrades, right? The original K10 was a great bike, is a great bike. Still on the website, still on sale with the 20% discount that I've got. Let's talk price for just 2 seconds. The original K10 sells now for $50.99 and I still have 20% off that. So it comes down to $12.79, right? Yes, they've increased the price, but most companies have increased the price over the last few months. Tariffs, taxes, cost of shipping, all that stuff is just brought up the price of e-bikes across the board, right? Every company has had some sort of increase, right? And a lot of these companies do this also, right? Like they come out of the gate swinging with a very low price. They sell maybe 1,000 units, right? And after that, then they see that the bike, you know, has a good reception, it has a ton of draw. They might increase the price a little bit just to maybe slow down production. Maybe production can't keep up. And then they increase the price a little bit, still sell tons. It's still a great bike, but the company makes a little bit more, you know, it's business, right? So original K10, $12.79 right now after the 20% discount on sale. K10 Trail, I have a 17% discount going on right now. Sells for $17.09 after the sale price, comes down to $14.18. Let's ballpark it, right? $150 difference between the original K10 and the K10 Trail. And yes, I will be doing my best throughout the review to find out, you know, if that extra 150 bucks is actually worth it, right? And at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide, right? You know, can I afford the extra 150 bucks? You know, maybe you just like the colors. Maybe you like a certain upgrade that's only on the K10 Trail. Or maybe you're okay with the original K10, which is still a great bike, right? If you guys missed that review, I'll put a card up here. You can easily go check out. I had a ton of fun riding the original bike. But like I said, I'll do my best to find out exactly if this $150 difference is worth it. But so far, you know, initial thoughts, I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm a little bummed out. I only got about 31 miles an hour, right? It says 35 on the website. I only got 31. And, you know, but overall, the bikes are good bikes, right? For between the $1,000 and $1,500 mark, there are so many bikes out there. But Bluvall is giving you a lot of value here for your money, right? Dual 1,000-watt motors with 160 Newton meters of total torque, right? 43 amp hours of battery capacity. That's huge range, especially if you can, you know, turn the front motor on and off as you need it. You're gonna get massive range from this 43 amp hours. Full suspension, hydraulic brakes, lights, turn signals, cruise control, great electronics. Like, this bike is feature loaded for under 1,500 bucks, right? So first impressions, yeah, still great value. Time for the brake test. There's the marker I want to stop at, and just up ahead, about a 20-foot distance. I've got the first marker here. I'm gonna hit this going about 28 miles an hour with the new K10, slam on the brakes, and hopefully those DY islands can bite the 180 mil rotor strong enough and hard enough to help me come to a stop before I get to that second marker. Again, I know this bike can go a little bit faster, but if I keep it to 28 miles an hour on all my tests, that really just shows you guys the braking performance for each bike, right? That's my only way to just keep it stable. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way back here. Give this thing an actual shot at getting up to speed. Let's go dual motor. Woo! Okay, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, here we go. And brake. Okay. Well, the rear definitely locked up. The front, however, I don't think grabbed as hard as it could. Two reasons maybe. One, you know, obviously it's the first ride. They haven't really been bedded in. The braking performance on this bike will only get better, you know, the second, third, fourth ride in. You're really gonna bed in the brake pads to the rotor. They're gonna grab a whole lot more. And two, you know, for a big heavy bike like this bike might actually benefit from getting a 203 mil rotor up front. Super easy change. All you gotta do is change the adapter, get yourself a bigger rotor. Bob's your uncle. You're gonna get a lot more grab, especially up front. That's where 70% of your grip comes from. When you're braking, right, all the weight goes to the front. So if the front wheel just rolls along and the rear wheel now has less weight on it, just skids along, you're not really coming to a stop anytime soon, right? So getting the most amount of grab up front is where you're gonna find the best braking performance. Time to take the K10 trail onto the trail. Let's see how the new bike does in the sand. I'm in pedal assist 5 right now, single motor, and maybe we'll turn on dual motor once we get onto the beach. But in my personal opinion and experience, on the trail, a dual motor bike is kind of sketchy, because especially one with this amount of power, because spinning out on the front wheel means losing all traction. And when you're fighting for traction, you know, it's no good, no bueno. Woo! Let's open it up. Front wheel on. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. All right, we got the little drone following us. Let's get onto the beach. I've got it in dual motor mode. Pedal assist 5, obviously. We're gonna need all the torque we can get to get through this loose sand. Let's go. All right. Oh man, easy peasy. Whoa. Okay, let's figure out our traction here. Here we go. Oh, dead bird. Man, this thing just accelerates in the sand. There's absolutely no problems for this bike to be out here. Zero. Now, the suspension's not the most comfortable I've ever had. It doesn't have the most amount of travel, you know. It's kind of bouncy back there. But if you're gonna be on smooth sand or snow, things like that, this'll do just fine. Let's get ourselves off the beach. No problems. So like I was saying earlier, the K10 Trail doesn't have a ton of suspension travel. I was kind of expecting them to come out with a bike, you know, especially if you're gonna call it the K10 Trail, just to come out with a bike with, you know, a little bit more travel, something a bit more off-road heavy, right? More travel, more adjustments in the suspension at least, some nice aggressive tires. The tires are okay, they do great out here, right? They did great in the sand, hooked up properly. We've got lots of traction here on the trail, but you know what? The one thing that's kind of lacking for me, especially after riding bikes like the Ghost Cat F4X, is the suspension travel, right? I wish this thing had just like you know, a few more inches of suspension travel up and down, right? Right now you get this much and it's just kind of like takes a little bumps away, but the big bumps you still get right through your back. But man, as far as performance goes, off-road does the trick just fine. The K10 Trail's got a little bit of suspension travel, but there's bikes out there that have a ton more and are really designed to be off-road bikes, right? If that's what you're after, this isn't really the bike for that. I look at this bike as a really nice commuter, right? You want to ride road, gravel, some soft trails, some loose terrain, right? You want to climb hills, great. But you know, you're gonna ride some rough trails, look for something else. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about bike and ride quality, and let's go through it all here. The contact points are not the best. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. I don't wanna blow smoke and tell you guys this is a super comfortable bike and all of that stuff. And this is my personal opinion, right? I'm not saying that you're gonna buy this bike and have a horrible time on it. You might have a great time on it, right? You might not know anything different, right? But to me, these are some of the cheapest grips you could possibly, like they probably spend 15 cents on these grips, right? They're plastic, they're hard, they spin, like I can, look, like I just turned it upside down, right? They're not good, especially for a bike that, you know, you're gonna wanna go on trails. It's called the K10 Trail. Put some grips that don't spin so you can keep a grip on your bike. The plastic pedals are gonna wear out in no time. For a bike that's designed to get off-road, to get in the mud, you're gonna want something that's gonna grip the bottom of your shoe much better. And you know, these are all super small upgrades, but you know, I kind of wish that the bike had them to begin with. My personal opinion, right? The seat's something that you're gonna have a hard time changing on a moped-style bike. And to be perfectly honest, this seat, I don't really get along with it. I personally much preferred the curved seat on the K10, the original bike. You know, this one's like perfectly flat. You know, if you're gonna carry another passenger, right, this is probably the seat for you, and this is probably the bike for you. Throw on some pegs on there, and you've got room to put a passenger behind you or in front of you. You know, that gives you that option, which is great if that's what you're looking to do. The bike's got ample power to take you and, you know, a small passenger anywhere you want to go with the dual motors. But for me, I don't ride with anybody else. I just kind of ride by myself and, you know, get some things done in my head, get out and clear my head. I don't intend on riding and man doubling with someone else. So I would much prefer the added comfort, the other seat, right? I don't remember any pressure points or anything negative to say about the original seat. The frame's good, right? I mean, I don't think there's a lot different between this and the original frame. The welds are decent, nothing that sticks out as red flags here. The added colors are kind of cool, right? Like the original bike comes in all black or black and yellow, right? This one comes in all black, as well as these two new colors, black and pink, as well as this one here with the tan and blue. You know, they're kind of polarizing. I'm not the biggest fan of a big flashy bike. This saying from the guy that rides around a bright green wired cruiser, right? But you know what I mean. I much prefer an all black bike, something that's unassuming. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion, my personal preference. If you like these colors, awesome. The tires are good. I think they give you a lot of grip. I don't know, and I'm not gonna go out and test, especially this far away from my house. I'm not gonna roll over a nail just to prove that it can save you from punctures. I believe that there's an added layer underneath the rubber there, and yeah, it might help you against thorns and, you know, anything organic puncturing your tire. But trust me, man, like if you roll over a nail or a screw at the right angle, it's just gonna go right through, right? It doesn't matter how puncture resistant your tire is, it's still gonna get a flat, right? It's still gonna go through the rubber and that extra layer, and it's still gonna put a hole in your tube and you're gonna end up with a flat tire. So, you know, is that really a huge selling point? I don't think so. The electronics are great on this bike. It's got a ton of features like cruise control. Like if I hold the throttle for a little bit, the bike will just hold that speed. And now I've got cruise control with no hands. I don't have to pedal. I can just sit back, relax, And if I want to turn cruise control off, just hit the brake, boom, I'm back to no power at all. Love that. I love the screen. You can see it in the bright sun, the dual motor, being able to turn the front motor on and off super easily with the push of a button. Love that. And I love that on the original bike too. So no problems there. You know, is this new controller that much better, that much more reliable? I don't really know. And you know, honestly guys, I wish I could ride every bike I get for 1,000 miles and tell you how reliable they are, but the reality is I don't have the time for that, right? I've got, you know, 8 to 10 bikes lined up in the studio at all times waiting for reviews. I don't have time to ride one particular bike that long, that far to really report on, you know, durability and all of that stuff, right? I'm sure there's YouTubers out there that do that, but you're not gonna find that on this channel. Sorry, that's just the way it is. The brakes are okay, you know, I think for a bike that goes this speed, sure, cool. 180 mil rotors do fine. Could it be a little bit better with a 203 in the front? Sure, probably what I would do with a big bike like this. Okay, here we go, hill test number 2. This one's a little bit steeper and there's no run up, so it's uphill right away. I've got about 50% left in the battery. I'm at 48.3 volts, 5 bars left over in the batteries. The 6th one's kind of like bouncing back and forth, blinking on and off. I'm in dual motor, pedal assist 5. Let's climb this hill. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Even at half battery, I still get a little front wheel spin. Perfect. And look at this. Like, even with all of that power being used up right now, I'm still, there's the voltage drop. I spoke too soon. See, with all that power being used, I'm down to 2 battery bars right now going uphill at full power. So something to keep in mind, right? But even at half battery, this bike in dual motor mode is just so much fun. I can definitely notice that the power's dropping a little bit. Doesn't have as much like oomph, as much torque as it did right away, like when it was fully charged, but still a ton of fun to ride. Range report. So let's hold the power button and let's go to odometer. There we go. I've done 21 miles on our ride today, and we are still at 5 battery bars. Now, you guys just saw with the voltage drop, right? Going uphill right now, dual motor drops me to 2 battery bars. Now, this 5 battery bars could last for a lot longer, but in dual motor mode, at full power, climbing hills, I don't know if this bike's got another 20 miles in it, which is kind of surprising, you know, like, in my experience, a bike in this caliber, especially with this amount of battery, 43 amp hours, should give you, you know, 40 miles and then some, right? 40 miles would probably be the least, the minimum I would bet this bike would get. But right now at 21 miles and I'm about halfway, yeah, you know, can we get 40 miles? Can we stretch 40 miles out of it? For sure. But I think we'd probably have to drop the power level just a little bit, or maybe put in some pedal power ourselves. So $1,000,000 question, is the K10 Trail really worth the extra price, right? It's a $150 difference. For me personally, the only reason I would pay $150 more for this version of the bike would be that I really like the new colors, right? I love this blue and tan, or I love the black and pink, and I want those colors on my bike. I would pay the extra $150 for, right? Why not, right? You want to like the way your bike looks. And then the other reason I would pay an extra $150 is if you're thinking of having a passenger on the bike. The original K10, there's no chance you're fitting 2 people on that seat. But this one, being flat and a little longer, you can definitely fit a smaller passenger behind you and commute, or, you know, take your kid to school, things like that, right? Definitely worth an extra $150, right? But other than that, for the upgrades that they say that this bike has, I don't know. The controller reliability is hard to test. The puncture resistance in the tires, again, hard to test. And the suspension adjustability, sure, great. Being able to adjust the preload on the rear shock. The rear shock doesn't have that much travel, so it's hard to test whether you got the right amount of preload when your shock only goes down about an inch, right? And lockout, I've never locked out a single fork in my life. So I personally wouldn't pay 150 bucks for the upgrades. I would save 150 bucks and go with the original K10 in all black. That was one of my favorite bikes this year, especially for the price that they were selling it at. The fact that they're still able to sell that bike under 1,300 bucks is really, really good. You know, I'm stoked on the hundreds and hundreds of people that have bought that bike and are super happy with it. Took a little while to get them, but you know, they're in stock now, they're shipping now, and you know, either way you choose, if you like the way the K10 looks, if you're after value for a new e-bike this year, come look at the K10. Either model, I think you're gonna be in really, really good hands. For the price, it's gonna be kind of hard to beat, right? Dual motor, dual battery, good looking moped style e-bike that does a decent speed, right? So if the K10 12 sounds like the perfect bike for you, do yourself a favor, click on the link in the description, or better yet, scan that QR code with your phone's camera if you're watching the video on your TV. That'll take you right to their website. It'll guarantee you the best price they've got. Whatever promotion's going on, you're gonna get that price. Plus, look in the description. I've got 2 different discount codes. One of them will save you 17% off the new K10 Trail, and the other one is still valid for 20% off the old original K10. Whichever one you like, pick it, pick the right color, make sure you use those discount codes, and enjoy your new bike. And if the K10 Trail isn't the perfect bike for you, that's okay. Maybe the bike in this video will be more what you're looking for. Probably see you over there. Okay, bye. Dual motor!